So, it's been kind of an interesting road to get here as, an experimental music critic, which is kind of what I am. I guess that's probably the best definition of what I am. I think like anyone who gets into music, I have a lot of early memories with music specifically, but I would say like my first encounter with arts journalism and doing it myself was probably watching Spirited Away because I saw that film when I was like 10. I've always been a big Miyazaki head. Like, I was really into Kiki's Delivery Service when I was little. And seeing Spirited Away, for whatever reason, really unlocked a lot of thoughts in me. Like, that film, while it is a children's film, has a lot of symbolism in it. There's a lot of discussion about greed. There's a lot of discussion about kind of like the West and all of those ideas that come up throughout Miyazaki's work. But when I was watching that film, it was like something unlocked in my brain. And I was like, oh, wait, I really kind of like analyzing the stuff I'm taking in. And I was really little. So it
Yeah,
was
sure.
very basic, but it was like I'm picking up on this symbolism and I'm really engaged by it. And then 4 years later, I was a freshman in high school, and my civics teacher put out this piece of art she made, and it was like, I don't even remember what it was. I think it was something like there were like villagers and there was like a river, and it was an extra credit assignment, like to write an essay about what you thought the piece of art was about and what it was saying and what its significance was. And so naturally, because I was an overachiever, I had to do it. Even though I had like an A in the class, I was like, I got to do the extra credit. But then when I was doing it, I had so much fun. And she ended up awarding it to me. I was the winner. And she gave me this little cat that has like a tall tail that you can like put rings on.
Oh, nice.
I don't know why, but that's like my it's like a little wooden cat. And I think those were kind of like the earliest signs that I would probably end up somehow being into art analysis in a way more so than like creation. Although we could say that criticism is art in itself, but there is sort of like a different side of it. It's like responding to someone else's art.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I love that you brought up Miyazaki because that's Miyazaki's work also resonates with me quite a bit. Except, unlike you, I didn't encounter it until I was in my 30s. like,
Wait, really?
yeah, like a few years ago was the first time I started with Spirited Away.
Okay,
I was
good
like, okay,
choice.
this is like I love anime, I love Japanese culture. This is a no brainer. I need to watch these movies, these films, I should say. So I started at that place. It seemed natural. I loved it.
Hmm.
Then I watched My Neighbor Totoro, which
Hmm.
is very much a children's film, but was a blast to watch. And then I
Hmm.
watched Kiki's Delivery Service. I remember I watched it by myself, and I like cried in the middle of it.
Oh my god, it is such a moving film. And I'll say, and it's also huge for my older sister. Like, both of us really connected to that when we were growing up. And I think a huge reason why, too, for like a young girl to relate to it is just that it like centers and portrays the experience of like growing up as a young girl and like having
Sure.
insecurities or like feeling pressured about boys, like all of this sort of these ideas, and then like finding yourself, like all of these ideas are not necessarily centered in a lot of American like Disney
Oh, totally.
films.
Yeah.
So right, what
Yeah.
part made you cry?
Yeah. I think all of it. It was just the whole thing to me. It was like an allegory for being an artist, right? I mean, that's kind of
Hmm.
literally touched on in the film. Not to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen this like 30-plus-year-old film, but
So sorry.
there's like actually an artist character, and Kiki, I think, she loses her powers, and this artist kind of helps her. It's like a literal connection there. I think
Ursula.
that Miyazaki is trying to portray that, I've really had a tumultuous relationship with my own creative life, I guess I should say. as a composer, because there's times where I feel like I lose my magic. I lose my
Hmm.
magic, and I don't want to do it anymore, and I'm freaked out by that. And I always come around to it. And I think seeing that portrayed through this story really moved me to a degree that Susanna was working on a piece of music at the time, and Susanna can get writer's block sometime. And I go upstairs after watching this movie. I'm like, you have to watch this movie right now. And so the next day I watched it again with
Oh
her.
my God.
And like now I have like a Kiki tattoo. Like that's how important that movie is
Oh
to
my
me.
gosh.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, and yeah, I mean, it's so interesting because a lot of Miyazaki's art is meta. And I've been talking a lot about The Boy and the Heron with people because I didn't love it. But that one also was kind of exploring like the death of the artist, or like, did my ideas do anything for the world? Which is kind of a sad thing, but like, it's interesting to talk about. With Kiki, I will also say Ursula. She is who I've modeled like my whole life after. She's
That's
like who
awesome.
I want to be.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, I saw her on screen and I was like, that is gonna be me. Like I want to be alone with my crows, drawing and inspiring young girls to like have confidence about their work.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Micromaker by Loose Leaf Transmissions. We hope you enjoyed this brief glimpse into the inner workings of the creative life. If this resonated with you, be sure to check out the full conversation on Music Maker with Tyler Kline, a podcast exploring craft and process, philosophy and inspiration, and the honest, often messy parts of being an artist, creative uncertainty, purpose and identity, and resilience. You can find Music Maker wherever you get your podcasts or by visiting musicmakerpodcast.com.